Math B. Okay, guys, so we are going to start diagramming complements. You guys know that Miss McDermott loves diagramming. Now, you won't be doing you won't be doing any diagramming on your interactive worksheets because it's not possible. I mean, I'm sure it may be possible somehow, but I don't even think it could be possible unless you have some kind of art program or something where you can draw the lines and everything. But then you guys would have to have that same kind of thing to enter the information on the line. So I don't think it would be possible. But so anyways, I am going to still teach it to you because I love diagramming. And if you're bored one afternoon and you're like, oh, let me go get my language book and diagram some complements, that would make my day. It would give you something to do. So we are going to go ahead and learn it, and just so next year when we are back in our classrooms that you will you'll have an idea when your teacher brings it up to review with you. You'll have an idea of what is going on. Okay. All right. So when we are diagramming complements, it's pretty easy, and it makes a lot of sense. Okay. So our first sentence would be Tonto won the race. Okay. So that is our sentence. Tonto won the race. So our verb is won. Who or what won? Tonto. And Tonto won whom or what? Race. Race is a direct object because that is the complement that is following an action verb. Any complement following an action verb is a direct object. So when we diagram it, we diagram our verb, won, who or what won, Tonto, and Tonto won whom or what? We just put a vertical line that stops on the line, and we write our direct object, race. The word the goes right under race, just like it would any other noun that we were diagramming. Okay? Our next sentence, the Lone Ranger taught the rustler a lesson. The Lone Ranger taught the rustler, sounds like they may have had a tough tussle, huh? The rustler a lesson. Okay, so our verb is taught. Who or what taught? Ranger is our subject. Ranger taught who or what? He taught a lesson. That is our direct object. The completer is coming after an action verb, so it's a direct object. Ranger taught lesson to whom or for whom? Rustler is our indirect object, okay? So this is how we diagram it when we have an indirect object. We still diagram our subject and verb and direct object the same way. So taught is our verb. Who or what taught. Is that Lone Ranger capitalized in there? You know what, guys? This is his name. I didn't write this properly. I'm sorry. So all of this would be the subject, Lone Ranger. Because I don't know if you guys even know, but there used to be a character called the Lone Ranger. Okay? So he is the Lone Ranger. So that was his name. So we're going to use that as his name. Lone Ranger taught whom or what? Our direct object, our vertical line stops on the line. He taught lesson is our adjective that goes under lesson. Okay, now our indirect object, and the would go under Lone Ranger. Our indirect object is always diagrammed under the verb as if it were a prepositional phrase, okay? So on the line, so we come down. Remember when we diagram a prepositional phrase, that's where the preposition would be. Nothing goes on that blank. And our indirect object goes where our object of the preposition would be. Who did he teach? Rustler. And then which, I guess it'd be nice if I could spell rustler. And then any adjective that describes rustler would go under there, the. Okay? So that's how we would diagram our indirect object. And then Let me erase those ones. Y'all can pause or do whatever to get those written down if you're taking notes, which I hope you are, just because I love diagramming. Number 3, or the next sentence, Lone Ranger is a hero. Lone Ranger is a hero. Okay? So is our verb. It is a linking verb. And so it's blinking. It's telling us to look out for something, that there could be a complement in the predicate part of the sentence, modifying our subject. Who or what is Lone Ranger? Lone Ranger is who or what? Hero. He is a hero. So hero and Lone Ranger is the exact same thing, following a linking verb, and is renaming our subject. So hero is a predicate nominative. When we diagram our predicate nominative, we have our verb is, we have our subject, Lone Ranger, and then we come on out. Now, after a direct object, our line is straight up and down, but for a predicate nominative, our line points back to the subject. It's a slanted line, and we write our predicate nominative hero and any adjectives that describe it under it. So that is how we diagram our predicate nominative. And then our last sentence is Tonto is loyal. Tonto was Lone Ranger's horse, guys. Okay, so is our linking verb. It's blinking at us, telling us there might be a word after me that's renaming or describing the subject. So who or what is Tonto? So Tonto is whom or what? Loyal. So loyal is the completer, but we have to decide what kind of completer is it. Does it make sense to say Tonto is very loyal? It does. Or loyal Tonto? Very loyal makes more sense. So that means that loyal is a predicate adjective that's modifying our subject. It is diagrammed the exact same way as a predicate nominative. Okay, the exact same way. So we have our verb is, who or what is Tonto. Tonto is whom or what. It's a predicate adjective that slants back towards the subject. It's modifying that subject is loyal. So that is how we would diagram it, okay? Now in your sentences, you're going to need to be sure that you are able to locate your subject, your verb, put any prepositional phrases in parentheses. Don't pick any words out of those prepositional phrases to use at all. And then you're going to need to figure out, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, figure out what your complement is. Is it a direct object? Is it a predicate nominative? Is it a predicate adjective? Direct objects always follow an action verb. If you have an action verb, you ask who or what, it's got to be a direct object. If you have a linking verb or a blinking verb, and it is blinking at you and you ask who or what, you come up with an answer. Then you have to decide, is this describing the subject, making it a predicate adjective? Put the word very in front of it. If very makes sense, then it's a predicate adjective. Or is it renaming the subject, making it a predicate nominative? Okay, so that is what you will be doing on your exercise. Now, of course, you will not be diagramming, but you will be writing the different parts of speech in the different boxes, typing it in. Okay, that's the only way that I could figure to still break the sentence down into pieces, so that I would know that you had an understanding what the different pieces were, which is basically what diagramming is. It's just funner writing it on a map, I think, than in boxes. But go ahead and look at page 286, and I want to look at Think F on page 286. So you are going to underline your verb twice. You are going to underline your subject once, and then we're going to find our complement, and we're going to decide whether it is a direct object, predicate nominative, or a predicate adjective. If it is a direct object, we need to be sure and go back and check and make sure that there is not an indirect object going with that direct object. Okay, so number 1, my grandparents sent me money in my birthday card. There is a prepositional phrase. Put it in parentheses and don't choose anything from that box. And some of you are still choosing words from prepositional phrases on your live worksheets, your interactive worksheets. Do not choose any word from a prepositional phrase in your interactive worksheets. You've got to spot those first off. And even though you can't mark them on your interactive worksheet, spot it first off and don't use anything in there. Now, I think in the one you're doing today, I think in the one you're doing today, I think I do have a box first off for the prepositional phrase to go in. I think. I'm almost positive I do, but I have been making so many worksheets, my mind is kind of boggled. But I'm pretty positive I have a box for the prepositional phrase to go in, okay? So, in my birthday card is the prepositional phrase. We are not using anything from the prepositional phrase. Our verb is sent. Who or what sent? Grandparents. Sent is an action verb. Grandparents sent whom or what? Money. Money is our direct object. We need to check and see, do we have an indirect object? Grandparents sent money to whom or for whom? Me. We have an indirect object. Me is our indirect object. Number 2, Melissa Johnson lives across the street from me. I see 2 prepositional phrases. Y'all see them? Across the street is one, and right after it, from me. We will use no words from those prepositional phrases. Our verb is lives. Who or what lives? Melissa Johnson is our subject, and the whole rest of the sentence is prepositional phrases, so you know there is no direct object, there's no predicate nominative, there's no predicate adjective. Even if you ask a question and it seems like the word would answer the question, if it's in that prepositional phrase, it cannot be a direct object, predicate nominative, or a predicate adjective, or an indirect object, okay? Number 3, that dog in their yard is a friendly collie. So there is a prepositional phrase in there. What is it? Right in the middle of the sentence. In their yard. We will use nothing out of those parentheses, in their yard. So is our subject. Who or what is? Dog is, not yard. Yard is in the prepositional phrase. Dog is whom or what? Collie. So is was a blinking verb. So our complement has to be a predicate nominative or predicate adjective. Is collie renaming our subject dog, or is it describing our subject dog? Does it make sense to say that dog in their yard is a very collie? No. So it's not a predicate adjective, it is a predicate nominative. So collie is PN, renaming the dog. Dog and collie are one and one. My mother is happy most of the time. There is a prepositional phrase in that sentence. What is it? Of the time. We will use nothing in that prepositional phrase. Our verb is. It's blinking at us. Who or what is mother. Mother is who or what? She is happy. So it's coming after a blinking verb or linking verb, so that means that it has to be a predicate nominative or predicate adjective. Can we say mother is very happy and it makes sense? Yes, so that makes happy a predicate adjective, modifying the subject mother. The strawberry pie at Shoney's restaurant tastes delicious. Prepositional phrase, what is it? At Shoney's restaurant. Put it in parentheses. Use nothing out of those parentheses. Our verb is taste. Who or what taste? Pie. Pie taste whom or what? Delicious. So we have to figure out if taste is a linking verb in this sentence or if it is an action verb in order to know if our complement is a direct object or a predicate nominative or predicate adjective. Remember, taste is one of the sometimes linking verbs. So I'm going to look at it like this. The direct object, delicious, does that rename my pie or describe my pie? The delicious pie? The pie tastes very delicious? Yes, it does. It describes my pie. It's a predicate adjective because I can put very in front of it. So that means taste in this sentence is a linking verb. Okay? So the rest of you guys' work today will be done your live or on your interactive worksheet. Okay,